Breaking news out of the Vatican. Under Pope Leo XIV, granting the Latin Mass a 2-year extension in San Angelo, Texas. As a Texan, I gotta say, that's good news indeed. But also out of the Vatican. Vatican announces new votive Mass for the care of creation. Feels a little bit too Amazonian for my liking. All of this while Edward Penton reports 80% of Germany's bishops subscribe to views on human sexuality that depart from church teaching. Sounds like we've got a lot of problems to solve. I'm not sure that a Mass for the care of creation is a high priority. However, some are saying that this is not as bad as it seems. So, I thought, let's go for a walk and let's get into it. So let's get into this LifeSite News article. I'm going to link to it below for you so you can see it for yourself. And I definitely want to know your thoughts. Do you think this is a big issue? Do you think it's a nothing burger? Let me know. So Vatican announces new votive Mass for the care of creation. The Vatican is set to publish a new Mass text called the Mass for the Care of Creation. In a press note issued June 30th, the Holy See Press Office announced details of a press conference on Thursday, which will be the launch for a new Mass. Quote, there will be a press conference to present the new form of the Mass, Pro Custodia Traditionis, which will be added to the Masses of the Roman Missal. The Mass is believed to be joining the list of the votive Masses in the Roman Missal. Presenting the new Mass text will be two notable Vatican officials from the relevant dicasteries. Cardinal Michael Sereni, S.J., prefect of the dicastery for Service of Integral Human Development. Archbishop Viola, OFM, secretary for the dicastery for the Divine Worship. At the moment, it is not yet known how long the Mass has been in preparation, though it is highly likely to have been originated under the pontificate of Pope Francis. It will be of key significance to examine the text upon its release, given another high-profile liturgical case that is currently underway, namely the 3-year experimental phase of the Amazonian Rite, which seeks to draw from local Amazonian customs. Alongside this is the pagan-linked, enculturated Mayan Rite, which the Vatican is currently considering for the indigenous enculturation of the people of Mexico. Did you catch Dr. Taylor Marshall's video on this subject? He wants to create the Texan Rite, the TRM, I think he called it, where the priest wears denim chasubles. I think the point can be well made. Where does it all end? If we just go down the rabbit hole of creating new Masses for every community, every culture, every this, every that, it becomes a rabbit hole that never ends. Francis made the care of creation a prominent theme throughout his pontificate, dedicating numerous speeches and addresses to it. His 2015 encyclical letter Laudato Si became the reference text for a number of Vatican and papal initiatives focused on the so-called Green Agenda. In it, Francis spoke about a true ecological approach which listens to both the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. The document later gave rise to Laudato Si movement, which aims to turn Pope Francis's encyclical letter Laudato Si into action for climate and ecological justice as the Mass divestment from fossil fuels finds inspiration in the late Pontiff's environmental warnings. Let's talk about Archbishop Viola and his involvement in this. He's one of the two guys that we just said is going to be announcing this new Mass of creation. It says, Archbishop Viola of the Dicastery for Divine Worship is better known for his opposition to the traditional Latin Mass, a campaign which has been in full swing with increased pace in recent years, following Pope Francis's Traditionis Custodes. It turns out that Viola was one of the guys who is believed to have put a document on Francis's desk where it would have basically done away with the TLM altogether. The good news is that document never emerged. It was never signed, but it was believed to have hit Francis's desk. Now, As LifeSite News' Gene Smits documented, Viola is a known admirer of the main architects of the Novus Ordo in 1969, Archbishop Annibale Bugnini. So he wears the ring of Bugnini. Doesn't that symbolize something? I would argue that it does. So this mass of creation is very much in line with their version of things, their theology post-Vatican II of the sort of the environment for environmental sake, rather than becoming a chief steward of the environment. It does note that no official meeting between Pope Leo XIV and Viola has been recorded in the Pope's public diary. One meeting has been documented between Leo and Viola's superior, Cardinal Arthur Roche, which took place on June 3rd. This is good news, praise be to God. So no real collaboration between these two. However, there is a distinction that needs to be made here, and Dr. Taylor Marshall in his video, I can link to it below, talks about this. The differences between the modernist globalist view of climate change and how it impacts disproportionately poorer communities over rich, and of course the Catholic philosophy of Adam being a priest, prophet, and king in creation. In fact, as the king of creation, placed there by God, the creator, his job was to care, to go into the wilderness, to cultivate and extend the boundaries of the garden sanctuary so that God's kingdom is expanded throughout all of creation. He names the creatures, for instance. And of course, we all know how that ends when he fails to face and confront the creature Nahash, who came into the garden breathing threats of violence against them unless they ate the fruit. And of course, they did. So when we fail to do our job as the good stewards of creation, bad things happen. Concupiscent nature has been the case ever since the garden incident with the serpent, the Nahash, the Leviathan, the seven-headed dragon, the great serpent, the ancient serpent, as Revelation 12 makes very clear. So I think it's a great distinction. In fact, Dr. Taylor Marshall talks about in that video how on his own ranch, he and his wife and family are trying to do exactly that, be good stewards. And this is where I think the hypocritical rub comes in. We have a massive creation coming out, you know, in a time where we should be embracing the good, the true, and the beautiful, and the rich tradition and patrimony of our liturgies. But instead, we're sort of embracing this globalist mentality. I mean, we talk about the chemicals we put into our food, the chemicals we put into our waterways, the chemicals we put into our ground that grows our food, the chemicals we put into our animals. Dr. Taylor Marshall talks about all of that. So it seems rather hypocritical to me to see them embrace such a crazy idea while not at the same time also encourage Catholic lay faithful to embrace a more natural return to Catholic philosophy and theology, patrimony, beauty and liturgy, and elsewhere. It seems like we are picking and choosing. Which team are we on? Team World, Flesh, and the Devil? Or are we on Team Jesus and his one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church? Seems to me pretty clear what team I'm supposed to be on. What do you think? You let me know in the comments below.
Did you like that video? It's okay. You can admit it. It's perfectly fine. Hey, we cover the big stories of our day, from inside the church to outside the church to all points in between, and we do it from a Catholic perspective. It's called A Catholic Take. It's a radio program Monday through Friday. We live stream it right here on this channel, by the way, so make sure to subscribe, like, and share. We would be very grateful to you. And don't forget, you're going to want to watch this video right here because you don't want to miss anything.